The way that it works is that you would be getting 16 weeks of pay, and you can break it up into two segments. So you could take 3 weeks on just as soon as the baby's born, then come back to work, and then take the balance within the 12 months of the birth of the baby. So you have up to 12 months after the baby's birth or the adoption process to actually take the full benefit. You can break it up into two segments, with the smallest segment being 1 week. We work very closly with the BRGs, our business resource groups, and they usually kind of are an opportunity or a way for us to listen to what employees want and care about. And so the BRGs have been voicing the opportunity, particularly outside of the US, on some benefit that they felt that we could do better because some of the statutory requirements were quite low, in particular in some countries in APAC and Latin America. And so we started working with them about how do we bring focus and attention to this particular benefit. And we decided, let's put all our efforts in making sure that we get through the business case of bringing it through for approval, and then the implementation of it. And so the BRGs played a very big role in both bringing it up as an area of opportunity and as an area of interest for our employees, but also as something that our employees care. So this was something that our employees cared. It's something that they voiced that they cared, and we listened to that. And that's a little bit of how we then came into putting this policy in place. I think it is going to be really positive competitive advantage in some markets where we're growing. So outside the US, we're growing in some markets where, as I mentioned, the parental, in some cases, the maternity leave were statutorily less. And as we went with a global policy, it became a significant competitive advantage in some of our markets. India, Costa Rica being two countries where we have significant operations, and those have been a significant benefit that we've seen with, especially as we go out and recruit. And when you're thinking about recruiting at early in career talent that potentially could be in a stage of life where the parental leave becomes a little bit more relevant for them, it is something that it is helping us position ourselves better. We'll see as time goes if this actually translates into a higher attraction from what we're able to offer to those candidates. It was about a little bit less than a year in the planning of the policy and conceptually what we're trying to do. The execution of it, and that's why we announced it at the beginning of the year, but it became effective July 1st, retroactive to 2024. It's getting the systems ready for us to actually do that. And while conceptually it seems very easy, well, you just give 16 weeks to everyone and pay, every country had its own complexities to deal with, right? So in some countries, as I mentioned earlier, you might have had that the state was covering a portion of it for the maternity leave, but a different portion for paternity leave and a different formula for adoption. And so how do you get all the systems aligned to make sure that all the combinations yield the same outcome? And that took a little bit of a while, especially for a company where we operate in more than 40 countries. It required quite a bit of a systems and policy update. And so while actually getting to the place where we said this is what we want to do was fairly straightforward, then getting all the systems and processes and policies updated and up to date was a bigger lift. Our employees don't see that, but it is something that then it plays into the employee experience when someone is applying for a paternity or maternity leave, and then that the systems have to work and that they get paid, and that their process doesn't get truncated by a lack of our systems. It's difficult to foresee what the federal government is going to be doing. I think that given some of the priorities that the federal government has today, I don't see it coming in the next 5 years. I think that we underestimate how disruptive someone having a child can be on your mental health, on your physical tiredness, and for you to be asked to say you bring a new child, you're sleeping very few hours, and you have to operate at 100% at work. It's very difficult, and so I think it's good for organizations to acknowledge that and say you should take some time, welcome that child, make it part of your family, get into a rhythm, get into a cycle, and then come back and be fully productive. And I think that that's what these type of benefits are going to be allowing, is the people that go through such a very happy moment, but at the same time, stressful, disruptive moment in their lives, that they can focus on the baby and then come back and be fully productive once the baby is a little bit older. It's something that is going to be really crucial. Also, childcare in the US in particular, but also outside the US, is quite expensive. And what we've seen is that with the global parental leave policy, the parents can kind of extend the period of time that they take care of their child and delay a little bit more of the time when they need some childcare support, which also can be quite expensive on the table.